Welcome to Innovations and Breakthroughs with your host, Rich Goldstein, talking about the evolutionary, the revolutionary, the inspiration and the perspiration, and those aha moments that change everything. And now, here's your host, Rich Goldstein.
Rich Goldstein here, host of the Innovations and Breakthroughs podcast, where I feature top leaders and the path they took to create change. Past guests include Joe Polish, Ryan Deich, and Roland Frazier. This episode is brought to you by my company, Goldstein Patent Law, where we help you to protect your ideas and products. We've advised and obtained patents for thousands of companies over the past 28 years. So if you're a company that has software, a product, or a design you want protected, go to goldsteinpatentlaw.com, where there are amazing free resources for learning about the patent process. And you could also go to welcome@goldsteinpc.com to explore if it's a match to work together. You could also check out the book I wrote for the American Bar Association that explains in plain English how patents work. It's called the ABA Consumer Guide to Obtaining a Patent. I have with me here today Mike Calhoun. Mike is the founder and CEO of Board of Advisors, where he's established a global community of founders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, investors, marketers, and e-commerce moguls. Mike's also an advisor, owner, and investor in multiple companies. He's worked with numerous products, platforms, and services from here in the US to Australia. Mike truly has a gift for seeing opportunities to connect people and cultivate synergistic relationships. I'm very pleased to welcome back to the program here, once again, Mike Calhoun. Welcome, Mike.
Oh my God, Rich. I love being here, man. I just like hanging out with you. And the thing I like most is I have a lot of great relationships and big ideas, and you can instantly tell me whether they're good or not. You just have this experience and this knack for shooting them down or propping them up.
Yep, exactly. That's what I do. I either help people or I'm a killjoy. One or the other, right? And I love, while I was starting up the program there, you made a little sketch behind you, I see, of idea, the cliche light bulb associated with idea, Mike. But it's
everybody, you know what I like?
Make it special. You drew it.
Well, you know what I like is anybody. You don't have to be anything special. You don't have to have a certain level of income. You don't have to have any type of certain experience base. Anybody can have a great idea, right?
And yeah, and then it's what you do with it. And then I guess the question is, what should you do with it too, right?
And I think a lot of us have great ideas. And some of the best resolutions to issues or conflicts or problems are, great ideas. I mean, that's kind of the source of new inventions. It's the source of resolution. The creative spirit that is just part of being a human being kind of starts with the mind and the ability to kind of see it in your mind before it even really exists.
Yeah, it's like problem solution. It's like the problem creates the leverage, creates the need, creates the urgency, right? To create an idea. It's like you're like, I'm just suffering through this, whatever. What can I do about it? And then comes the idea.
Well, too, and when you do have a great idea, what's funny is we always go to those that we think we trust, right? Because we want to know, is it good or do we just think it's good? But if it's too good, are they going to run with it? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you kind of start to figure out, who do I really trust? Who could I tell about this to verify? But then they're not going to take it from me. And I always think of Rich Goldstein. I mean, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not going to take it from you. You can trust me. And, I think over the years I've developed some type of eye for ideas and giving some useful feedback. So you may be right. Probably.
My question to Rich is this. Rich, is this going to make me rich?
Rich, is this going to make me rich?
And then I share the idea with you. Rich, is this Goldstein? I don't know. Come on, man. These are just.
Hey,
I'm having fun today. I'm having fun.
Yeah, well, you should have fun every day. There's no reason for us to not have fun. We're having a conversation about what you do with an idea, right?
Well, and we all have them, but we qualify them with our trusted relationships. And it kind of comes down to what do we do with it? Like, I think more ideas die, just nobody follows through or we just forget about them. But, you know, having the idea is fun, but it's what do you do with it, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
the work comes in. Yeah, the work comes in after the fact. And what I notice a lot of people do is they have a great idea, they verify and validate with trusted resources, and then they start working on it. But what they miss is the protection.
That's true.
Because you're doing the work of validation and proof casing and creating that product, showcasing it, figuring out how to actually sell it or offer it. And then somebody goes, hey, that is a great idea. They didn't protect it. I'd like to do the same thing, right? So ideas can be very profitable and they can waste a lot of time. I think what you're doing in the industry is actually a pretty cool, it's a fun job. You get to hear everybody's creative thoughts and then you can kind of tell them really how good they are. And then when they're great, you get to work with them. You've actually strategically put yourself in the epicenter of great ideas. That's what I love about you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I guess I've never really
Was that your idea, Rich?
What's that?
Was that your idea to do that?
To put myself in the epicenter of
the great
ideas? No, I guess it was. It was my idea. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but it makes a lot of sense because I love ideas. I mean, I love inspiration. I have a lot of ideas for things, and through my life, I've always had people around me that tend to help ground me into taking action on the right ideas. But yeah, I love ideas and I love being in the center of that. So thanks for noticing that, Mike. I mean, I think
you know what I also noticed?
Make me really like my life at the moment.
Well, you've been on a little traveling. You got a great tan. You look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I'm actually thinking about. Most ideas suck if you want to be just real, right? I mean, really, a lot of ideas aren't great ideas. They're
Right.
bad ideas. That's a bad idea. I saw a T-shirt the other day with another BA member. It was RJ Polano. It said, that's a bad idea. I'm in, right? Like, kind of a
Right.
joke. But a lot of people have ideas that aren't so great. What would you say in the aspect of your world, people bringing you ideas and concepts that they might want to begin to protect? What would you say is the ratio of good to bad? Like a percentage, how many are really good? How many do you shoot down and ruin people's days?
Okay. Well, look, I never shoot them down and ruin their days. I learned how to give constructive feedback to help them see the other side of it. Like and I think that's one of the things that people are afraid of, and that they don't move forward is they're afraid that, they're going to get laughed at. Right. But like,
Sure.
I will point out to them where there might be better solutions, right? Than their idea to the problem, or ways in which their solution won't work. And I would say, though, probably, 1 out of 5 is terrible. 1 out of 5 is maybe 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10, or is very good. And then the ones in the middle are mediocre. They have potential, like you're onto something, but this might not be the best solution. Like maybe
I like that
more.
And that's actually where a lot of them fall, is you're onto something. And that's where the strategy comes into play. You're onto something, but it's going to require you to do this, this, and this. Because very rarely is there that unicorn, oh, nobody's thought of that yet. That's amazing. You should do it. That's good. You're onto something, but the strategy comes into categorization. What do you do first, second, or third? Like, what are we going to do with it, right? In your scenario, a lot of that guidance is involved with your client, but then you've got to have some sort of a support mechanism or network to help those ideas flourish. What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, what it could look like is a group of people that get together 4 times a year in Sarasota, Florida, to to meet other like-minded business people. And since you teed it up, I had to go there, right? but
You guys a golfer.
But seriously, though, I think that the joke was describing your group, right? In there, but the idea and really the kernel of it is, you got to get to know people. You got to get to know people that are like-minded, and also people that have resources that you don't have. You can't do it alone. Relationship is the foundation of accomplishment. You need to be in relationship with people that can do the things that you don't do.
I really like that. I really like that.
Yeah,
relationship is the foundation. Relationships are the foundation of accomplishment. That was good.
Yeah, thank you.
I almost feel like I might not need to say anything else on this podcast, just because that was so good. I mean, okay, that's it.
That's like a mic drop moment. Mic drop.
It is. I bought micdrop.com.
Did you?
Yeah, Mike, as in M-I-K-E. Mike Drop. I was going to do a podcast, micdrop.com, and then I was going to put you on. I've never had my own podcast. I'd jump on others, but I think I should try my own at some point. Is that a good idea?
I think you should. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, look, the thing that makes it a good idea is that you're good at relating to people, talking with people, and crap. You turn this around from an interview on you to an interview on me. So,
well, because realistically, Rich, I believe that relationships are the foundation of accomplishment, and all I'm trying to do here is build a better relationship with you.
Yeah, well,
you see how that works? I got it inserted right into the mix.
You're a natural. You're a natural. So yes, I say, do that podcast, micdrop.com. Drop that mic. Well, pick up the mic first and start the podcast. Then you could drop the mic.
I remember we were doing one of our first events, and we had just invested in really, really good mics, right? The wireless Sennheiser, I don't know, they're like $19.95, $2,000 a piece.
Yep.
And somebody does the mic drop, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Oh, shit. But it was totally fine.
Drop mics are people that have never purchased a microphone.
I was just thinking the same thing. They obviously have never purchased a microphone. No, and I think part of the fun is just getting together. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Part of the fun is getting together as entrepreneurs and just individuals. That's just part of shooting the breeze, right? Talking about things, shooting your ideas across the bows of your buddies, and having a little bit of fun. We have seen, if you want to talk about some cool stuff, we have seen some really great ideas come to the table. The bat mug with Chris Dennert was one of the most simple ideas that I can't believe. Why didn't we think of that? From 0 to 22 million, I think it was last year, in sales by just taking a bat mug, cutting a baseball bat off at the end, wallering out the center, and throwing some baseball brands, on the outside, engraving baseball logos on the outside of it.
You know what's funny about that?
Wildfire.
You know what's funny about that? You mentioned that. Is so I had Chris Dennert on the podcast. This is I guess a bit over a month ago, and we're talking about that, and we're talking about Dugout Mugs, the company that he created, and after the podcast, he's telling me how they're doing so many giveaway items for different large corporations that are branding the mugs and giving it out to their people and at events. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. I've got an event next week in Las Vegas where I'm going to have lots of people and I've got sponsors. And just instantly we hatched the idea of giving out the Dugout mugs at my event. And I was like, well, wait a second, it's a few days away. Is it possible? And he's like, let me get on with my team and see. And he did. He created the mugs that they looked awesome. It said Prosper After Party, and it had all of our logos on it engraved into the mug. And he shipped them out to me in Las Vegas. he got them done in 12 hours and shipped them out. So I had them in time for the party, and they were awesome. And, again, it's funny that you mention it, because I didn't even tell you that had gone on, that we got Chris's dugout mug.
Well, honestly, the reason I do what I do is I love that right there. The thing that makes the thing that satisfies me. Now, obviously, I like nice things, and I like nice experiences, but I like to work. And it sounds boring, but for me, I like it. I enjoy it, and what makes me most happy is what you just did. You did something with a member. You're being involved in BA. Obviously, that's cool. It's great, but I love the fact that you're doing things with members. There's value for him there. There's value for you there. There's a level of reward for me to see that we propped up that company. It became a success, and now it's bringing, the ripple effect of bringing value.
It's synergy.
I just love the ripple.
It's synergy, right? And also, it's like, as a connector, which you clearly are, and so am I, you enjoy connecting people. Like, that's what you just like, when you connect people, and that creates value. Like, you create value over there. Like, that's, first of all, it's very satisfying, but it's also high leverage. It's like when you can just make a connection that then creates all this other value in the world without too much effort on your part. That's leverage.
Here, if we want to really put a highlighter on the topic of this call, which is, ideas, right?
Right.
What I believe that I've kind of mastered, not blowing smoke up my own skirt, but just how I think I can bring the best value, right? Is you have, person A and person B, and seeing their competencies and understanding them. What do they want? What are they working so hard at? Many times we're working so hard we can't see the forest for the trees. But as a connector, as you're talking about, in that connection, not only putting them together, because that naturally has a tendency to fall apart, just naturally. Like, okay, great, I met somebody, boom, back to my world. But getting it to stick. And you know what makes it stick, Rich? The idea that I insert that they can't see because they're too busy, right? So, hey, Rich, you should talk to Sally over here about X, Y, and Z. Do you see how that comes together? And then you go, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. I do see how that comes together. And then you're now discussing this idea of what could be possible together. And then I just get out of the way, right?
Yeah, so it's like the movie Inception. You're like Leonardo DiCaprio. You implanted an idea that then grew, right?
Well, I love the way you put it, because I was thinking more about throwing mud at walls and it sticking. But the way you put it is
I made you into Leonardo DiCaprio. How could you go wrong with that, right?
Man, sometimes he's a great actor. He really is a great actor. I loved, what was the movie, Jordan Belfort? With
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah.
He was so good. Now, I know Jordan, right?
Yeah.
I actually, am friends with Jordan. He's an interesting character, but he played that so well. He just has the ability to embody the character.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, look, this is fun. We just got to kind of shoot the shit about like ideas and how you move it forward, creating relationship.
Rich.
Just one thing I wanted to highlight on that too was like all the stuff we were talking about with regard to relationship. It helps the people in the middle, the 3 out of 5, the people that are kind of onto something, but maybe don't have the best solution yet. It's like you get to talk with other people, you get to learn from others. It's like you get to find a better fit. And that's where all the work, I think, gets to happen, is with the people in the middle. It's not a terrible idea. It's not the most brilliant solution, but you're onto something. You've identified the problem. Yep.
Yes, and when you're under the belief system of relationships are the foundation of accomplishment, see how I keep going back to that? That, right?
No, that's good.
No, if you look at the 10, you have the 1 and the 10, 1 being bad, 10 being good. Obviously, like you said, 1 out of 10 is good, 1 out of 10 is bad, really bad. But the other 8, usually, like you said, there is a strategy or a thing that needs to be done to make it better, to protect it, to enhance it, to prop it up, right? And usually the identification of it having that potential, what needs to be done and who they need to interact with to get that done, there's a sequential connection there, right? And that's where I think you do so well within our group of, okay, I've qualified it. We've given you a little advisement, like what needs to happen next, and here's the person that can help you do that. That's a cradle to grave solution, right? When dealing with anyone else, when you're not dealing with Rich, I don't know if I'm going to get that cradle to grave solution, right? I'm just going to get an opinion and maybe some direction, but I don't get the end result. I don't get all those resources. Rich, dude, I love you, buddy.
I love you too, Mike. And if people want to learn more about you or get in touch with you, how do they go about doing so?
So I would say the best way to do that, first off, boardofadvisors.com is our primary URL. We run the top mastermind in the world. We call it the world's greatest mastermind for entrepreneurs, CEOs, investors, really decision makers that are trying to do something special and exchange ideas, right? We are 7 years strong. Go to that URL, poke around. If something like that looks like it would be something that you're interested in, then you can reach out to me directly. I have a full-time dedicated staff, headquarters, studios. We've created something here extremely special. Shoot me an email, mike@boardofadvisors.com. It's an intimate relationship with the members. Like Rich, we get to not only have a membership, but we get to have a friendship. And there's a genuine desire to help, but we need to get to know each other a little better first. So just reach out, mike@boardofadvisors.com. And I will see those communications. My team will pick that up and we'll get something on the calendar and we can have a conversation just like Rich and I did right here. Yeah. And I would actually like to hear their ideas. Like what are some of their ideas for their company? What are they trying to accomplish? Because relationships are the foundation for accomplishment.
Right.
That was a big fat bow right there, wasn't it, Rich?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll go credit my old friend Ron Bynum for that one. Right. He said that to me years ago, and I'm not going to take credit for being the originator of that, but I live by it. And Mike, you've got a knack for hearing people's ideas, hearing like what they're up to, what their challenge is, and then connecting them with a resource that will help them with that. So that's part of what I appreciate about you.
My big idea long term is I just want to get paid to party.
I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening,
there, but yes,
and if you're listening, that's an inside joke. I actually don't party. I love to work. I love to do stuff. I like to be productive. But Rich, what's next? What's next for us on this podcast? What are we doing? Sometimes the ending is just the beginning.
Yeah, what's next is that we leave them wanting the next Rich and Mike conversation, which we should do real soon.
This was a very rich conversation.
This was and I think we could drop the mic at that. And I just want to thank you for taking part in this conversation, Mike.
Beautiful. Hey, I'm always short on time because I'm trying to squeeze too many things in, but when Rich says let's jump on and have some fun, dude, I love making it happen. I'll see you soon. Virtually, yes. Always looking forward to seeing you in person. Even if we've got to do a parachute, jump out of the plane while we're flying over Sarasota, I think there's ways to make that happen.
Well, it sounds like one of us would be the one on the parachute there, so I could see how you would be in favor of that. But yeah, thanks,
hey,
Mike.
Man, I'll be waiting to catch you.
Yeah, that's true. All
right, big dog. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Innovations and Breakthroughs with your host, Rich Goldstein. Be sure to click subscribe, check us out on the web at innovationsandbreakthroughs.com, and we'll see you next time.